Welcome back to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Joseph Furtado. The Cardinals hosted the 49ers on Monday Night Football, but it wasn't a normal home game for Arizona. The two teams kicked off in Mexico City's Aztec Stadium. Cronkite News reporter Liam Barrett was there to catch the highs and lows of the must-win game for the Cards.
The Cardinals and 49ers were the first two teams to play in Mexico City in 2005, and their second matchup did not disappoint. Despite being a Cardinals home game, the Aztec Stadium was almost exclusively scarlet and gold. With Kyler Murray out, it was up to Colt McCoy and D-Hop to take on Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and the rest of the Niners gang. It was a back-and-forth first half, but the Niners dominated the rest of the way, winning 38-10. McCoy says it was a tough battle for the team.
Just a bummer we didn't find a way to win that game, but San Francisco played hard. They're a good football team, and we just didn't make enough plays.
It wasn't all bad for the Cards. J.J. Watt had plenty of fun hanging out with the Mexican crowd, tossing the ball back and forth with fans and eventually giving the ball out to a lucky fan. The Mexico City crowd was loud all game, even in the pregame warm-ups. If you can't hear behind me, it's a loud crowd in Mexico City. You can really tell that the Mexican fans have grown to be super passionate about these NFL teams. If it wasn't already known before, the fans at Aztec Stadium made sure the NFL knew they loved the game. The crowd exploded at every big play, especially when George Kittle and ASU alum Brandon Ayuk both scored a pair of touchdowns. Cardinals head coach Cliff Kingsbury says that the experience in Mexico was great, despite the team's poor performance.
The atmosphere was incredible. They put on a great game, and the entire weekend was spectacular. I wish we could have performed better, but yeah, that was a great atmosphere for football.
The Cards were unable to pull off a win in the City of Palaces, but it was a great week for the NFL and its international fans. The team looks to bounce back in what's been a difficult season so far. The Redbirds hope to put Mexico behind them and look ahead towards the Chargers next week. In Mexico City, Liam Barrett, Cronkite News.
The Suns host the Lakers tonight, and the game will be lacking some star power as Chris Paul is still out with a heel injury for the Suns, and LeBron James is nursing a groin injury. The Suns swept the Lakers last season and are 7-1 at home so far this year. Phoenix has looked to Cameron Payne to step in for Chris Paul, who has been out for 2 weeks. Payne has averaged nearly 20 points per game in his last 5 starts. LeBron James has been ruled out for tonight's game, making it the 5th straight game he's missed. It's no secret that the Suns will have a different game plan now with LeBron James on the sideline.
So they're a whole different team with them out there. Just that's 30 a night and 8 assists and 7 rebounds. Like that's definitely going to change the team. So him definitely got to scout different with them because he has the ball a little bit more.
Last week, the Suns donned their City Edition uniforms representing the culture and history of Phoenix. They'll be wearing them throughout the season. Cronkite News reporter Michael Donahue takes a closer look at the new jerseys and their ties to Native American heritage.
For Native Americans, reservation basketball, or resball, is a staple for the community.
Growing up on the reservation, basketball is everything. I mean, when I came to the Suns, I talked about how the ball brings us all together, and that's what this program's going to do.
For this year's City Edition uniforms, the Suns strayed away from their standard purple and orange, opting instead to honor Arizona's Native American tribes. But honoring thousands of years of heritage on a single jersey had its challenges.
There was a lot of guardrails on basically cultural usage. How are we representing these cultures in a way that is not appropriation or just borrowing concepts and using them to our advantage.
After 2.5 years of going through the design process, the Suns released the new uniforms. The turquoise color represents the protection stone. A traditional sidestep pattern lines the side of the jersey, and the word Sun can be seen in the 22 different tribal languages on a black stripe.
We had a very big focus on making sure everything we put into the uniform had a purpose and a story behind it that actually elevated the story of the Native communities. It helped tell their story rather than us interpreting their story.
An additional part of the jersey release was the launch of the Originative program, which aims to celebrate the 22 tribal nations of Arizona while also educating fans on the importance of Native culture.
It's very interesting to gain an understanding of the land that we're really living on and gain an understanding of kind of these people's culture and history.
For Martinez, who went from playing basketball with a sock and a shoebox to entering his 20th season working for an NBA team, this project almost felt like his destiny to complete.
I am so proud to be Navajo Diné from the Navajo Nation, being a part of this and able to say I had a big part in this whole process to make this come to life. It just means so much to me, and I'm glad Graham reached out to me because it was meant to be. It just kept slowly building, and I slowly got here, and I finally made it home.
This year, the Suns won't just be representing a city, but rather a collection of 22 nations whose significance reaches far beyond the borders of Arizona. In Phoenix, Michael Donahue, Cronkite News.
The Suns plan on wearing the City Edition uniforms 10 times at home and another 7 times on the road in cities with large indigenous peoples population. Arizona basketball is in Hawaii for the Maui Invitational. They handled Cincinnati in the quarterfinals last night. Azulis Tubelis and Omar Ballo dominated inside as the 14th-ranked Wildcats outran the Bearcats 101-93. Arizona shot an incredible 79% from the field in the second half. The Wildcats are on to the semifinal against 17th-ranked San Diego State at 8:30 p.m. One undefeated team will fall tonight. That's it for today's Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Joseph Furtado. Back to you, Jacob.